Hello everyone and welcome back. This season I took Cyber Dragon to Master 1 and we were absolutely cooking. I've got some very spicy games to show you, then I will give you my honest opinion on the new support that we got. So let's start with the deck list. I do want to point out a few important things here. So it's the same as before, no changes were needed. Maxi is going to 1, thank God, so we will be replacing that with another copy of Fualos. As for Droll, I get asked about this card a lot, and the answer here is that you should still be playing 2 copies of Droll. I've got something very special to show you with this card against Dracotail. It will be beautiful, and I'm sure you love it. For Zeus, it's a card that does not really come up in Master Duel because it has to do with the format here. Like, Master Duel is more about who can stop the opponent first rather than grind game. So Zeus doesn't really have the place to shine. I did not use it at all. So if you want to replace it with whatever else you might think you need, whether it's Typhon, a second Nova, maybe a second Fortress, go for it. My personal recommendation here would be Azalea. I think this card does come up in quite a bit of situations, so if you want to try it, you could as well. Give it a shot, see how you like it. Now, let me show you what the deck can do against the meta. The first game here is against Dracotail. I am going first, and looking at my hand, this is pretty good. Let's see what happens. So I start with Round because I am basically here testing the waters to see if he has Ash, Purge, or Droll. He has nothing, so we're grabbing Chimera, and then with Core, we're gonna grab Cyberload. We have everything that we need here, so we're gonna continue with Chimera. And now Link into Night, grabbing Clockwork. Now we activate Chimera, grabbing Power Bond. And now we're going to get to Regulus, right? We discard Horizon, we don't need it right now. And here, he's gonna go Fualos. And that's fine. So I was a little bit concerned here about Bestials because I remember the game before I was traumatized by a Bestial deck. He had 3 different Bestials in hand, and that was very painful. So here I wanted to be a little bit more safe. So normally here I would go SP right away, but I wanted to go Regulus first to see what he does. So we go Regulus first, targeting the Core, and he has Max C. Okay, so guess what we're doing here? You're gonna get a draw, and then we're gonna draw them. That's right. We're drawing Dracotail on our own turn. So now we can continue with SP. And now we're gonna go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. So we banish the Core here. That's because I don't have a target now to go for Cyberload, right, when I use it. Because Worm is going to send a Cyber Dragon monster, and because we are under Droll, we will not be able to send hers and add OG, right? So we will be missing out on a monster. And this is why we had to banish the Core here, because now with Power Bond, we're going to banish both Worm and the OG that we send. Right, I mean, Worm goes to the graveyard, but OG gets banished, and now we have the Core in the banish for Cyberload. So now here we're going to send hers and Naxter and add back the Naxter, and now with Cyberload we go into the second Rampage. All of this under Max C Fua. So now we send, and we can go into Nova, and then we can revive hers to have it as follow-up on the next turn when we detach from Infinity, right? And we have also follow-up with Naxter, and then we have Orflow. So 4 disruptions plus follow-up under Max C Fua. Let's see what he has. So they start with K2 and he gave that. Okay. Now he goes Lurie. Okay. They're playing Fiendsmith here. That's fine. So we're just going to go pop it. He just uses normal summon. And that's pretty good for us. He has 5 mana. We just negate. And then hers will activate here to add us back follow-up. The only way he can continue here is that if he has Rahu, right? But he has nothing else and he's going to scoop. Nice Maxi, nice Fua, and nice tier 1 deck you got there. Let's go next. Here we are going second against Dracotail. Let's see what a tier 1 deck can do against us. So they're gonna start with Lucius at 5 mana. Okay. 5 mana, and we're gonna chain Fualos. So here we are saving Ash for Rahu, right? Now you could save it for your own turn on one of the traps, probably Flame, but I think it's just better to save it for Rahu. And we drew Clockwork. This card is not good against this deck, so this is really bad here. Okay, so we Ash Rahu, and that's it. So what do they have? So they have Flame, Horn, and then 5 mana in hand. Now we drew Crossout, which is really bad here. Our hand is not looking good at all because we only have realistically just one play, which is Horizon. So what can Horizon do against this tier 1 deck? Let's see. So we're gonna start with it, pitch Core and Worm, and we're going to add Yorm. Now here my opponent took a minute to read Horizon, and then he's like, nah, I'd win. This card is too weak. I'm not gonna negate it. I don't need to negate it. It's fine. I'm like, okay, this card is going to single-handedly break your entire field. Now, to be fair here, even if he does negate it, we can still break his board. That's part of the reason why Horizon is such a busted card. But let's continue. So we go Eternity first, and then we're gonna go Yorm, and now of course we summon the monsters in defense to play around with Horn. Now here, I should have went Yorm, bounce OG right away to search Poly, because it's very important that we have access to Poly here. But it will be fine. So we send hers, and now we're gonna get to Worm, and hers will give us back the core. Now, of course, my opponent here, he's saving 5 mana for the right opportunity. It's going to be Nova most of the time. That's like the choke point, right? They're going to bounce Nova back to the extra deck, and then they're going to do a bunch of things. But that's not going to work here. So we go core, and here he goes for Horn. Now, it's kind of hard to predict what they're going to do. But I don't know, like bouncing the normal summon like that doesn't do really anything. But I guess they just wanted to get a draw. And this is really the most annoying thing about Dracotail, is that when they draw into hand traps. That is literally my only concern here. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna get Realm here, and now we're gonna get Poly, right? So now the Poly, so we go for Vamana first, but Vamana will check the 5 mana, right? So now he cannot 5 mana. We can put it in attack position because he already used the Horn. So now with Poly, this is forcing out the Flame. He has to use Flame on Poly, otherwise we'll go into Rampage and we'll pop it. So this is forced. And Vamana is checking the 5 mana, and he has Max C. We have the cross out for that. So now he has nothing else. So now we go Realm. Yes, 5 mana, we negate. We get Chimera. Now we can normal summon. And now we can go Power Bond, and then we can grab Regulus here. Just for safety measure, right? So we go Regulus, and that's GG. We're gonna go Power Bond, and that's it. All of this game was just Horizon, breaking his entire board. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, now we are playing against an actual tier 1 deck, which is Yummy. The hand is looking pretty decent as long as they don't have Max C. We're gonna start with Core and see what they do. No response, so we're grabbing Realm. We go Realm, and we get hit with Purge. Okay, that's fine. So Purge tells you that it should be either Yummy or Odeon, right? Probably Yummy. But here we're going to send hers and Worm, and we're grabbing Chimera like that. And hers will add us the OG from the deck. So now we can normal summon it, and now we're gonna go into Night, adding back the Clockwork. And Chimera, discard, get Power Bond. And now we're going to search for Regulus. So we go Regulus, and now we set Overflow into Power Bond, because we are going to pop Overflow here. So we pop, and he has Nib. Okay. So I equipped hers here so that I can get follow-up on the next turn, but you know, he has Nib, so goodbye Regulus. It's very important that you have Regulus on the 5th summon. Always keep that in mind. Not using that is like one of the biggest mistakes that you can do, because this is a deck that does not lose to Nibiru. So there's no reason to not do it. So now we send, and with Cyberload, we're going to go back into the second Rampage. We send to the graveyard here Core, and now we can go into Nova. Now remember, we still have Worm in the graveyard, right? So here we're going to revive Naxter, and Naxter will give us Yorn. And now we can go into Infinity. And Yorn will bounce, get Poly. So now we activate, get back the Overflow. And here we can go into Vamana. And now Knight is going to revive Core, and now we're going into Heos with Poly. So hand traps against us do not work. I still see some players complain about that, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this is 5 disruptions through 2 hand traps. Let's see what they do. And we get Cyberload, of course, for follow-up. So they have Imperm as well. Okay. So we negate with Heos, and now this sets up for Cyberload as well. He goes Engage, that's fine. We're gonna negate the Hornet Drones. Remember, one of the cards in his hand is Nib, right? So he doesn't have that many plays. Okay, so now we're just waiting until Snatchy puts the field spell, and now we're gonna go Overflow, pop both of them. Goodbye. We still have Vamana and Imperm, but they're just gonna scoop. They had enough, and that's it. Let's go to the next one. Here we are going second against Pure Mitsurugi. Our hand is not looking good. They start with pre-prep. We have to ash that, because if you let pre-prep resolve, they will get access to Mirror and whatever name they're missing, and they will be able to play through your ash, because one of the ritual getting tributed will be searching any Mitsurugi card, right? So we kind of have to ash the pre-prep. But here, unfortunately, they're going to go full combo because they already had Habakiri, of course. And this is not looking good at all for us. So with 2 level 4s, they can go into Dugaris, and they have the trap now. Aramasa searching follow-up. Dugar is such a stupid card. Draw 2 for free. And then gonna go into IP. Okay. Set the trap and pass. Alright. So what do they have here? So the IP and then the Murakumo and the trap and Futsu with infinite advantage plus unknowns in their hand. And they probably drew into hand traps, right? Of course, we drew Overflow. Going second. This hand is so bad. Is beyond bad. But let's see what we can do here. So we start with Core, see what he does. He starts with Ash. We're going to go Kolbai. And he has the trap. Alright. So this was pretty unfortunate. So he's going to revive, search. No response here, so we're going to contact Fuse. And here we have to go Talon draw, right? We need to draw into Realm here. It doesn't have to be like Realm. We need a way to Realm, right? So it could be like one of the 3 copies. It could be 3 copies of Claw, 3 copies of Horizon. Clockwork Knight also works here. So we have basically like 10 targets to make this work. We have a lot of cards to make it work. So of course here they're going to chain Mokuma and we're going to discard the Overflow. And they have Maxi on top. Pretty unfortunate. So now we can go Regulus, and of course we drew the best card in the deck, Cybernetic Horizon. We love to see Horizon. So now we're just going to grab any name, and then we're going to go Horizon into Claw, and Claw will grab us Realm. So we send Eternity. We can activate it. And now we're going to go Realm. And with Realm was going to search for Chimera. He's going to get another draw here, that's fine. We have the Regulus to negate. Yeah, you can summon as many monsters as you want. It's not going to matter because we're going to contact fuse his entire field away, right? We go into Night into Clockwork. And now with Clockwork, say bye-bye to your board. And now we go for game. Yeah, nice Maxi you got there. Pretty cool. That's it for this one. Now let's go to the next game. Here we are playing against Dracotail and we are going first. My hand is not looking good here. I only have 1 starter, but let's see what we can do. So we're going to start with Core, adding Realm, and with Realm we're going to add Chimera. So we normal summon Chimera, and then we're going to add the Power Bond, and here we're going to Link, and then going into SP, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So here we can get to Regulus, and now we're going to go Regulus, and he has Maxi. Well, guess what we're doing here? We're of course chaining Droll. So now we're gonna go Worm, send Core, and we have 2 cards in the graveyard. So now we're gonna go Power Bond. If you just passed like that without chaining Droll, you would have lost against Dracotail, right? You have to chain Droll in these situations. So we go Rampage, we send, and now we're gonna go Nova. Nova revive level 5, and then Cyberload into the other level 5, and go into Vamana. So that's 4 disruptions plus Maxi. Under Maxi, right? Like this is so good. You gotta do this play. Let's go to the next one. In this one, we are going second against Dracotail. Let's see what they can do. We only have Ash in hand, and of course we're saving that for Raho. So Arthelion. Okay, he's gonna set. That's fine. G2, Flame. Add the Malulu. This is fine. They're all baits, right? You need to Ash the Raho. He goes 5 mana, okay. So he still has Malulu in his hand and 1 unknown, I believe, right? Okay, so he has 2 disruptions here, plus the Golemel, plus 5 mana. Now basically here, I just want to force him to use whatever he has, whether it's Flame, whether it's Golemel, right? And we want to make Talent live so we can check the 5 mana like that. So we start with Realm, no response, so grab Chimera. You can do this like in multiple ways. Our main concern here is if he has hand traps, nothing else. So Chimera send Worm, and then we send hers. Hers will grab us back the Core. So here we normal summon Core. We had Emergency. They do chain Horn here, okay. And they chain Golemel, perfect. So now we're gonna go Talent. Take a peek. That forces the 5 mana out. Goes Arthelion. He had Veiler. For some reason he did not send it to add it back later. Okay. But even if he did add it back, right, that doesn't do anything because now we have Emergency into Yorm, and Yorm plus OG will go into Nova Infinity, and that will check the Veiler. So like there was no way for him to win this one. So now we know what he has, so we just take our time. Bounce, search Poly, and now go into Nova. We revive the OG, and now go Infinity. Infinity can attach. and Chimera can go into Power Bond. And with Power Bond, we're going to go into Rampage and pop his back row, and it's going to be GG from there. Yep, they're going to scoop it up, and that's it. Now let's go to the next one. In this game, I am playing against Yami Mitsurugi, and I am going second here. This is not looking good. I only have Ashe, so we're going to Ashe the Saji and hope for the best. Some of you have asked me to show some of my losses, and to be honest, most of them are due to floodgates, like Maxi, Fuwalos, and Joel are the main suspects here, right? But these games are pretty boring, and no one wants to see those. So I decided to pick a game where there is an interactive gameplay. They set up a big board, and I'm trying to push through that, right? Or attempting to push. Now, Yami Mitsurugi is one of the best decks in the game, of course, and their board is a very oppressive board. Now, there are multiple versions in Master Duel. You know, some end on Savage, some end on Barone, right? But the whole gist is that they're going to have Herald, you know, plus Murakumo, plus some kind of negate on the field, right? And you have the full Yami board as well. So let's see if we can manage to push through this board. The issue here is not just the board, is that they have hand traps on top of it, right? Like the board itself, let's count here. So it's going to be Barone Negate, Herald Negate, and Herald Floodgate. And you have the Prayers reviving Murakumo, so that's 2 disruptions there. And you have Surprise going to revive one of the names, so Snatchy can combo from there. So it's going to be Cookie, and then Snatchy can put a Croaky, right? And he has 2 unknowns. So there's a lot of disruptions here. Realistically, I should not be able to push through this board, but we're definitely going to attempt to, right? So I'm going to start with Yorm here, and because I want him to use one of his negates, probably Barone, right? So then I can go Talent and deal with the other one. All of this just so that we can play the game. Okay, so he's going to go Surprise so he can make his Yummy plays. Marshmallow's going to add back, that's fine. So here at this point, you know, you kind of have to assume that he doesn't have hand traps. Because if he does, things are going to be really bad, right? So, but nevertheless, I start with Realm, see what he does. I mean, if he has any hand traps, he should be using them right now, right? So we grab Worm here. Okay. He's going to add, that's fine. So now we're going to normal summon the Chimera, and then he's going to special summon. With Cups, he's going to get a draw here. So at this point, I am kind of assuming that he doesn't have hand traps, but he does just draw 1 card. So maybe now he does. But to be safe here, we'll go Chainlink 1 Knight and then Chainlink 2 Chimera, right, to chain block. So we have Clockwork now, and we go Claw here, and he has Ashe. Now, I'm almost confident that he just drew the Ashe, right? And this is really bad here, because if we were able to get to Horizon, we're probably winning this game. Right, but unfortunately with Ashe, that's going to be almost impossible now. So we're going to go Clockwork, and then he goes Murakumo. And really the plan here for him is that when I activate Worm, he's going to activate Murakumo, and then he's going to make me, you know, discard it, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to send Core, because when he activates Murakumo, we are actually going to let this get negated, right? And we want to activate Core from the graveyard to continue playing from there. So we let that get negated, and now with Core we're going to summon Naxxer, and Naxxer will revive Chimera. So now he's going to go into Cookie to book my field. Now you gotta remember here that my opponent took a lot of time on his turn to combo, and then he was taking a lot of time on my turn as well. So at this point he was very low on time. So he books, and now what we're going to do is going to tribute summon Worm. That's right. And now we can go into Night, and now we revive Worm. And here I'm pretty sure he toggled off because he just has no time to respond. Yeah, time is a big factor here. So now we're going to contact fuse the board and go attack, but unfortunately this is not enough per game. So we're just going to pass turn like that. Now, my opponent needs to get rid of Clockwork first to be able to make plays with Yummy, and he doesn't seem to have access to Prayers. He added Mirror here. So the only way for him to out Clockwork is going to be SP. So he has to go and commit some monsters to SP, and then he needs to be able to play from there, right? So let's see if he can. And the timer will reset to what, like 40 seconds? He needs to do that in all this time, right? So the time pressure here is real. So he goes Marshmallow. He cannot go into Snatchy because of Clockwork, right?
He goes Koki, okay, and then he goes Almirage. This card is so stupid, by the way. To be fair, he could have went Linkuriboh as well, right? But then he's gonna go SP, and now he's gonna vanish. Okay, so what the question here is, what exactly is his plan next? So, okay. And then he activates Surprise again. He forgot that he already used one of its effects, right? So he cannot use the special summon again. The only effect that he can use is going to be this one, right? The useless effect here. So, okay. I guess time is doing its work here. And now he panics, he attacks, and he surrenders. So, yeah, we did win because of time. This is not a game that we should have won, but we definitely did not make it easy for the opponent. The point here of showing this game is so that you understand that we are a deck that does not go down that easily. We can definitely put up a fierce fight even with the engine alone, right? We got a little bit of help with talent to deal with Herald, but that is a board that 99% of the decks will not be able to out with just engine. But that's it for the games. Now let me go and talk about the new support. I know a lot of you are excited about the new support, and I was too, but we do need to do a reality check here. The new cards, in my opinion, are not competitively viable. Let me explain, and starting with the new Cyber End, this card is just straight up bad. Like, we are not trying to play bricks in the deck just so that we can summon this card. That's number one. Then we move on to the effects. Who thought that adding an effect to add limited removal would be a good idea? Like, that makes no sense in 2026. How can they design an effect like this, and then on the other hand we have Liger Dancer? I don't know. It feels like two cards designed by different companies. And then you have the piercing damage, which is okay, I guess, and then the attack 3 times with the weird attack change. These are like okay effects. The problem here is that this card doesn't really do anything that we don't already do, and we do it well. Like, OTKing has always been our forte, right? So we don't need a card that is, I'm not gonna say bad, but it's kind of weird when it comes to OTKing. Like this, I would not describe this as a good OTK card. Like, Rampage is a beast, right? Rampage is a beast of a card. Cyber End, not really. I would not really play this card unless you were doing it for fun. And then we have Future Fusion Nova. This card reads like it has a good effect on paper, but in reality, it's not that good. So let me show you the 1-card combo, and I'll explain as we go through it. Okay, so we're gonna start by activating Future Fusion Nova. We're gonna send hers, core, and OG, and some Eternity. And then with hers, we'll add back the core. Right off the bat, there are some major problems here. Let's talk about Eternity. This is not an acceptable monster to summon with it. Like, we're putting a body on the field, yes, but it's not doing anything. In order for this to be good, we need a monster on the field that does something to our combos. You know, it either extends, it searches, it does anything. Eternity or Hios are not acceptable targets in my eyes. But the biggest problem here is that we are wasting our resources by sending 3 monsters to the graveyard right off the bat. This is not good. If you've been playing this deck for a while, and a lot of you have complained to me that you don't have resources in the grind game. Like, you're running out of resources to OTK and continue playing like on turn 3. What you're doing here is making this problem much worse. Sending 3 is not needed for our combos like that, right? We usually want to save our monsters in the deck or have more efficient ways of sending the monsters in the time that we need them. After we're done with this combo, we would only have 1 core in the deck left. That's it. If you play like 2 OGs, you will have a second OG in the deck, but that's all you'll have. This is really bad here in terms of resource management. That's number 1. Number 2 is that by sending the cards like that to the graveyard, you are exposing yourself to hand traps that we do not normally lose to, namely Bestials, right? Now we have a monster on the field and we sent hers to add core. Like, basically what we're doing here is just getting access to core in a really bad way. If you get Bestial here, if you get Ghost Spell, anything will stop this combo. And you still lose to the normal hand traps, right? Whether it's Imperm, whether it's Ash. So you are not doing anything here that we don't already do, and we don't already do it well. So now let's continue with core to see how this combo would go. And basically this is going to be similar to the 1-card core combo with some few differences here and there. So we get Clockwork here, and we use Chimera's effect, get Power Bond. Now it's important here that we go Regulus right now in an actual game, right? We discard another card and get to Regulus so that we can play around Nib, right? Okay, so we send here, and then we're gonna use Yorn, get Poly. So we send core. This is the second core, right? So now we only have 1 core in the deck. And here with Regulus, it's important that we go and equip the Hearse, because we do need to get follow-up on the next turn. So here we're going to use Eternity for Fusion Material for Hios. So we do end on 4 disruptions, and we'll get back follow up with hers, but this is just a bad way of doing the combo. It's highly susceptible to all kinds of disruptions, okay? So I am not a fan of what this card is doing here, because it's not adding anything new and nothing efficient. There's another annoying thing about this card, which is when we're going second, because what exactly are you doing going second with this card? Not being able to declare attacks except with a summon monster is really bad, because we usually want to attack with Rampage, right? Not the monster that we're summoning with this card. The correct play of using this card, if you are going to play it, is to have it as bait, and this is the best use of it. If your opponent has Ash, Impulse, whatever, this is the best time for us, for the opponent to negate, so that we can actually go with our real plays. This card is just bad going first and bad going second. Now you might say here, okay, what about other engines, other targets to send? So let's talk about that. You might be thinking of playing other engines like Crystons or Trains, and this is not a good idea. The Cyber Dragon engine is large. We have 27 cards here, and we do need all of them. If you start cutting cards to fit something else, you will start to reduce the power level of the engine. So for example, if you talk about like the K9 engine, the Sidra part there is nowhere close to the power level of what you're looking at right here. Nowhere close. Because you're missing out on a lot of cards. Horizon, Yorm, right? These are some of your best cards. Mixing it with another engine doesn't really work here in terms of like taking out cards for it. So now you might say, okay, what about if I go over 40 and we play like a 50 or a 60 card deck? Well, that also is not good. You see, the engine here doesn't like to be mixed with something else. So for example, if you, let's say, playing Crystron engine, and now you have Horizon plus like Crystron Solfador, what exactly are you doing with that? Nothing. You would like to see here cards together. Like you want to see, for example, Core plus Horizon plus Emergency, things like that. You want to see like Overflow and Cyberload. These cards with the Sidra engine can help you combo, but if you see Overflow and Cyberload like with K9, if you see it with Trains or whatever, these are not going to be good, right? These are basically would be bricks in your deck. So this is why the Sidra engine just loves flying solo. Also, why exactly would you be playing another engine here? Just so that you can make future Fusion Nova work is not a good reason. The deck will still lose to Fualos, it will still lose to Maxi, and even Droll, you will not have like consistent solutions to this. So like if you're thinking about Train, maybe you think about like a Blue Traveler. You've seen this like with Regulus, and then you can special summon both of them, and now you have a negate to play around Droll. But this is not good. This card is a brick. You will still see it in your hand sometimes. It's gonna make things weird. What if this gets ghost spelled? Things like that. You'll be losing out on Regulus. Just so many issues here. I hope you get the idea that just playing the pure variant with what we have is much better. Now we got another card that was leaked, which is a retrain of the OG. I don't know what Konami is thinking. That card is not what we need. Like sure, we can take out the OG and put that card in instead, but it's just going to be a one-off. Right, assuming that card, of course, is treated as Cyber Dragon everywhere. They seem to be focusing on like fusion summoning a light fusion, but they're not giving us a target for it. So hopefully they will give us that next, so that these cards become better. Overall, these were my thoughts on them. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let me know your thoughts on these cards, and I'll catch you all in the next one.